Story 1. Friday night, I log off from work. I'm in my sweats. I sit on my sofa and have a whiskey while catching up on TV. Honestly, at that moment in time, I swear there is nobody happier on earth. Story 2. Happiness for me is like a shadow. It's there sometimes, but it fades quickly. I find joy in little things, like music or a good book, but it all feels temporary. Story 3. Probably not the answer anyone is looking for, but a while ago I was hit by a car and I suffered a traumatic brain injury, among a long list of other injuries. The doctor said I may suffer some personality changes, and I guess they were right because I'm now happier than I was before, even though I have nerve damage and one of my eyes doesn't work properly. Story 4. Felt it pretty strongly a few nights ago. Girlfriend had come over, we were both a little buzzed, cuddling and naked, in bed and watching Bob's Burgers, laughing so much our faces hurt, with both cats also asleep on the bed. Story 5. Finally getting home after a long shift, taking off my bra and face planting into my bed with freshly washed sheets. Pure bliss doesn't need to be complicated. Story 6. Having a house in a big open field in a cold mountain area, along with a pet dog and a room for my gaming, a small farm for vegetables and a vast view, an evening time where it's just me, my dog, and a cup of coffee staring at a beautiful sunset, reminiscing about life. Story 7. I'm trying this new thing where happiness is not circumstantial. Rather, it's a choice regardless of what may be going right or wrong in life. Just be happy and let things be. Story 8. Finally publishing my first novel after 6 years of rejections. Held that book in my hands and just broke down sobbing in the middle of my kitchen. My mom framed the acceptance letter. Story 9. A feeling of contentment, peace, and gratitude. Pleasure in simple things and excitement for big things. And always having something to look forward to. Happiness is as fleeting as sadness and any other emotion. It comes and goes. Remaining hopeful and grateful even when times are tough makes the easy, fun times all the more special and the tougher times easier to manage. Story 10. A quiet Saturday afternoon watching some relaxing shows or videos. Then, an evening walk at a park, taking in the air, hopefully catching the sunset. Then, spend the night with family. Story 11. Happiness to me is seeing my parents happy. When they are smiling and doing well, it makes me feel truly happy. Their happiness is what matters most to me. Story 12. Seeing my daughter's face light up during the holidays or when she spots us at school events. I remember that feeling with my dad, so I'm glad I'm able to make it happen for her too. Story 13. Happiness is when my autistic child says, "I love you, mommy." Also, the cuddles and hugs. That moment when she willingly comes to me and gives me a hug is the best thing ever. Nothing compares to those moments. Story 14. I don't find happiness in everything that's happening to me right now, but my only dream, and I would probably be so happy if I did, is to go to America, to Los Angeles, walking through the city while the sky is orange and the sun is setting. That's my only dream in life. Story 15. Happiness for me would consist of good health, being a woman of faith, being financially stable in a job that I enjoy, and more importantly, being surrounded by love from a good support system, whether it be friends or family or both. Not to mention, traveling is very healing for the soul. Anyone who has all of this is very lucky. Story 16. It's like blinking. The blissful, precious moments of time between the reality of my situation. Sometimes prolonged, but only when I make a conscious effort to do so. The best moments of my life are when I'm not dealing with the world. Story 17. It is a high that I am constantly chasing, that I can sometimes feel, but I cannot hold on to it. But I have the memory of it. Like I can smell, feel, taste it sometimes if I try hard enough. I have severe depression, and while medication and other things that I do help to keep it at bay, the sadness is always there at the back of my mind. When the darkness is too much for me, I remember the happiness and hold on to that memory of joy and pleasure for dear life so that I do not get stuck in the despair that threatens to suck me down into the darkness forever. Story 18. Being connected with your natural joyful aliveness. If you are obsessing over the past or worrying about the future, then you are not connected to your joyful aliveness. Story 19. Happiness is peace of mind. When you are not regretting anything about the past and not worrying about anything in the future, fully in the present moment at peace. That is true happiness. Story 20. Happiness is not a continuous state of mind or the result of a perfect life. It is rather a series of small wins, which you sometimes don't see until they have passed. A Feather for Pumpkin, page 80. Story 21. Happiness to me is the quiet miracle of existence. A fleeting moment of clarity that reminds us life is worth living. It's not just laughter or joy. It's the hum of contentment in your chest when the world feels right, even for a second. It's the first breath of fresh air after the rain. The warmth of a hand in yours when you thought you were alone. The way music can transport you somewhere words can't. But happiness isn't handed to you. It's earned through storms and struggles. It's the reward for the battles you fight with yourself. The choice to look at your scars and see proof that you're still here. It's not constant, and it's not meant to be. Happiness lives in the contrast. It's brighter because you've known the dark. The truth is, happiness is messy and imperfect, like a masterpiece painted with mismatched colors. It's in the mistakes that teach you something new, the days when you think you've lost it, only to find it again in the smallest things. A kind word, a favorite song, a fleeting sunset that feels like it was meant just for you. Happiness is the courage to hope, to love, to let yourself dream, even when it feels impossible. It's not about chasing some perfect life. It's about learning to pause and say, this moment is enough. True happiness is not just a feeling. It's a choice, an act of rebellion against everything that tries to take it from you. It's not perfect, but it's real, and that makes it more beautiful than anything else. Story 22. After a long and tiring day at work, coming home to see my family is everything. The welcoming hug from my daughter, the kiss on the cheek from my wife, family dinners and weekend days together. Story 23. Happiness is when you are content with where you are, not stressing over what you do not have. It is just being good in the moment, even if things are not perfect. Story 24. True happiness is complex. We need problems and purpose, something to strive for. Someone might say happiness is a life without problems, but it isn't. It's actually a boring life where you just create your own. No matter how ridiculous, you will find one. I just wish humans could be happy without problems. Story 25. Doing what you love does not necessarily have to be a grand, lifelong thing. Anything you love to do in the moment, even with the smallest reason to do it, if you love it, do it. Story 26. Gratitude and appreciation for what you have in life. There will always be worries and problems or conflicts. But in the end, don't let bad experiences destroy good moments. Because the good moments are what we live for, and the bad moments are what we accept and get over, not the other way around. Story 27. Grilling food and hanging around a bonfire. Swimming, lifting weights, doing cardio with beautiful women is definitely on the top of the list. Eating savapsasai with Ivar. Hanging around a bonfire with friends. Playing Counter-Strike. Global Offensive. Watching movies while eating popcorn and drinking chai. Laughing about the stupid things you used to do earlier in life. Story 28. Happiness for me would consist of good health, being a woman of faith, being financially stable in a job that I enjoy, and more importantly, being surrounded by love from a good support system, whether it be friends, family, or both. Not to mention, traveling is very healing for the soul. Anyone who has all of this is very lucky. Story 29. Happiness for me would consist of good health, being a woman of faith, being financially stable in a job that I enjoy, and more importantly, being surrounded by love from a good support system, whether it be friends or family or both. Not to mention, traveling is very healing for the soul. Anyone who has all of this is very lucky. Story 30. Happiness to me feels like those little pockets of peace in life. Watching the sunset, laughing so hard your stomach hurts, or cuddling up with a warm blanket and your favorite show. Story 31. To be honest, it varies for me. Sometimes enjoying good food, other times reading something, or simply having an engaging conversation with someone. For me, it's fluid and depends on the moment and what I am craving. I think it's relative to each person's experience and needs in that particular period of life. Story 32. Good overall health. Roof over my head. Freedom to roam about. Food in my belly. Clothes on my back. Bills paid. No debt. Good education. Reciprocated love from family and friends. And time to make it all possible. Story 33. Being around your people. I live in a busy location with tons of nice people, but I don't fully mesh with them. I felt so disconnected, alone, and unbalanced. Then I finally met a bunch of gamer friends in real life, and that was the happiest I'd been in about 2 years. Story 34. To me, happiness is a quiet sense of contentment in the everyday moments, like sharing a laugh with friends, feeling at peace with myself, or enjoying a moment of solitude. Story 35. Being financially stable, feeling like life is in order, having just had a workout and a sauna, lying in bed on a late morning with my naked girlfriend, stoned playing Stardew Valley on my OLED Switch. Story 36. Happiness for me is a state of mind. That feeling when I can just sit and look out my window and feel peace of mind. Is my work stable? Is my family healthy? Do I have good relationships? If the answer is yes, I am happy. These things are not guaranteed. I am a very happy person. Please excuse my English. It is not my first language. Story 37. Hey, original poster. 48-year-old married father of 2 in the United Kingdom here. I have learned, through therapy and experience, that for me there is no such thing as happiness, but there surely is a lack of unhappiness which feels very, very close to happiness. I have found contentment in life by removing negatives from my life rather than trying to add positives. Story 38. In my 30s, I've learned that happiness is when you ensure you have zero expectations of people or things. It is saying no to certain plans so you can make time for yourself to do what you really want, and it is making time for family. Story 39. Spending a quiet weekend with my wife and son. Would not trade it for any lavish lifestyle or career. Finding joy in every day, despite what your circumstances might be. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. Story 40. I seek peace inward and then outward, and the byproduct of that is happiness. But I don't seek happiness. Peace, for me, is a calm mind with clear and healthy thoughts, and outwardly, freedom in my day. Story 41. Being with the only person I have ever connected to in 40-something years. Is gone now. I never really had it to begin with. He had one foot out the door the whole time. Story 42. It's a fleeting feeling. I usually feel it when I feel connected to the world and other people with a good meal, a piece of art and entertainment, and when I accomplish something big. Story 43. Good health, people I love being happy and in good health, and a good amount of money where I could look after all my family and not have to work 70 hours a week just to survive. Story 44. Happiness for me is a state of mind. It is impossible for you to be happy all the time, but circumstances and situations in life make you happy at certain times. Now it depends. If you have fulfillment in life, professional fulfillment, family fulfillment, consequently, you will have more happiness. That's my opinion. Story 45. Happiness, to me, is the sense of fulfillment and contentment that comes from living authentically, pursuing meaningful goals, and building positive relationships. It's about finding balance in life, embracing both the highs and lows, and being at peace with oneself. Happiness isn't a constant state, but rather a series of moments where you feel grateful, connected, and purposeful. It also involves a sense of growth, learning, and being present in the moment, appreciating what you have while striving for what you want. Story 46. Sitting down after a hard day with a beer, a packet of sweets, and a free evening to play on my PlayStation 5. It's something I treasure because it doesn't happen as much since I became a proper adult. Story 47. To me, happiness is a mix of feeling content with who I am and what I have, while still being excited about the future and the potential for new experiences. Story 48. Happiness to me is like a playlist of all the little moments. Laughing with friends, getting lost in a book, or enjoying a quiet sunset. It's not one big thing, but a collection of simple, imperfect things that feel just right in the moment. Story 49. A peaceful evening, the 49-year-old me is sitting on a rocking chair by the window and letting my thoughts run wild. If I get to have these free, peaceful evenings in my life, then I'm the happiest. Story 50. Peace and contentment in all aspects of my everyday life. The ability to say everything is taken care of, and I have no pending obligations to attend to. Sit my happy self on the couch and eat some Doritos. Story 51. Happiness is, without exception, a precursor to sadness if you find it outside of you. Happiness that comes from inside by simply existing is a different story, and that, to me, is the only true happiness. Story 52. Happiness is like water. It takes the shape of whatever makes you feel it. And whenever that container is emptied, you no longer feel that happiness, but the residue sticks around for a time before it starts to evaporate. Story 53. Listening to a Harry Potter podcast with my dad in the car, opening the door when I come home and seeing my cat greet me, waking up and feeling good with no pain, passing an exam after studying hard, cooking my mom's favorite dishes, and seeing her happily enjoy them, hugging my friends, spending time with them. Story 54. Being out of reach of others with the phone off or on airplane mode, doing something that I want to do only for recreational purposes. That brief time of happiness. Story 55. To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of their women. Or have a warm tea in a gloomy autumn afternoon under a cozy blanket with a good book in hand and a purring cat on your lap. I am not picky. Story 56. Okay, so I am one of those glass half full people, and I genuinely feel happy most of the time. I find that it takes too much energy to be upset or mad about things. It also means that I only get upset about the big stuff. I love our house, my job rocks, my kid is the funniest person. My husband thinks he's funny but not really, so that makes him even funnier. I appreciate all the small things and can see the beauty in everything.